Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is TGIF. It's Friday. End of the week. On to greater adventures, hopefully so. So, am I here? Oh, I'm not hearing me. Let's see. Why am I not hearing me? Okay, let's crank that up. Let's get that chat line going, too, at the same time. There we go. All right, that works out a lot better there. And let's get that back again. Let's skip that. And there we go. Now we're hearing ourselves. There we go. That's good. Good. Good morning, Robin. Indeed. Let's crank it up. Any question? Why is the sky blue? Why is quantum computing still dragging its feet? Anything and everything. So, where are we this morning? Let's take a look and see. You can see the dollar index trying to break down a little bit there. I think we're below the zero line on some of it. Let's see. Let me go check the beta again here. Last I looked, the beta looked underneath too. There it is, yeah. See, the beta is underneath also. So you've got a red hinky. Let's go over to here. Let's see. This. There we are. You can see we got a red hinky right there. We got the fast stochastic at 66.2. The slow at 78. So yes, we are pushing into the sell here. So the dollar index looks like it is backing off a little bit in there after a nice little push. But again, we were in a weekly sell, not a weekly buy. So we weren't, we thought this was the dead cat bounce. See all those weekly sells there. And you can see it over here. Same situation. Is that it? That's not it. That's Jan Oil. Thought I had the index up there. There it is right there. There's the dollar index. Bing, bing, bing. And look at that. Isn't that something? It's when looking at it in the raw form. Let's go over here and check it there. Yeah, you can see the same thing on J4X. No, not J4X. Our beta. You can see it's moving up also today, just like here. But we've got it below the zero line right there, and we've got it on the hinky ashky over here, trying to go to the red with the stochastics and everything moving down. So there's pressure on the dollar this morning, just a tad when it comes to technical analysis, the algorithms. When it comes to the actual price tag, they're lifting it up a little bit. And all the stories that are going on today, I saw again Japan. That move yesterday was wild. The currency really picked up against the dollar. It was like, okay, yeah, finally, maybe it's getting out of its problems. But we keep on learning more things from the LDP. That's the political party who's been in power in Japan for a long time. One of the articles was they talked about the $20 trillion pairs trade or carry trade. They're in $20 trillion in debt. And, we're $33 trillion in debt. We're, 4 times bigger. What are we, $28 trillion economy, something like that? And I think Japan, which is about the 4th largest economy in the world, is like, I think it's like a $5 or $4 trillion economy. So, we've been hearing that for a while, that Japan, China, they're deep in debt. China's even worse. They can't even find $15 million on $11 billion debt. Every day we talked about that. I kind of think about it every so often. It sticks out in my head, when we think about that. The idea that China, like I saw a headline this morning, especially for the Europeans. The European, they have this financial conference going on in China right now, and Europe is there. Head of the European Union is there. There's other people that are there, and just as it got rolling along, we talked about it yesterday. Italy moved out of the the Belt and Road, alliance with China. So now no European nation is involved anymore. and or especially from the G7 in particular. And so you start to really wonder. And then the article was going on about different things, and then the next thing you know, it says, it's asking the European Union to help it get out of its financial economic troubles. And that was and that was up on the Nikkei News, and it was on, it was on Zero Hedge, and it was, it's like things are not looking so. I keep on saying that China's a paper tiger, but we can't measure anything from it by what they say. We have to look at what they do, financially. And when you have $11 billion in debt and you let it go under from a $15 million payment, what did they do to where's the $11 billion? Where'd it go? It's all gone? That's what was going through my head. And you see the conference today, and you think, wow, what have they been doing with all the resources that have been coming in? They're squandering it. They're actually squandering it. And so it's like, ouch. You can't find $15 million out of an $11 billion organization. That was one of the property companies just recently in the last couple of weeks. We see it all the time now. It's really frustrating. So anyhow, the world is looking in that fashion. And you look today, we have the employment number here in the States. And, we have, the ECB talking about lowering rates in 24. We see all these mechanics. Remember, governments were borrowing for, 15 years, I guess you could say. Is it 15? Since 08 to 20 is 12 years. Now we're 15 years into this. So up until 2 years ago, until Mr. Biden came along, people were basically borrowing, governments in particular were borrowing money, in the 1% area, the 2% area, the 0% area. They were being paid to borrow, things like that. That's from quantitative easing. Now, it's a whole different story. They're paying 4, 5, 6% to borrow money, and that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money when you're talking about trillions. You have to pay 5% on $1 trillion. Ouch! You're not talking about pennies there. So, that's where we are today. We're looking at the world economy in that fashion. Anyhow, this is a technical analysis market conversation more than a fundamentals conversation. But let's take a look at the algorithm as we leave it, and that is the dollar. You can see it. Dollar is picking up a little steam this morning. Nothing major, just a little steam. In other words, it's getting a little strength. All right, over there we go over to the euro this morning. Now the euro, same thing. It looks like it's lifting its head up a little bit. You can see it's been in a sell for a bunch of days. The fast stochastic on the Forex J4X platform is at 15.3 basically. The slow is at 11.5, so it is lifting too. We just need the hinky to turn green there. And over here, right there, see that same situation. It's still underneath. The weekly is showing a lot of weakness. Let's see what the weekly looks like on J4X too. It's got red starting. Yep, look at that. And 67.5 versus 81. So it's pushing itself into the weekly sell. And you can see the fast algorithm over here already has broken down and is through it also. So the slow is trying to join in. We're seeing the nice little bounce out of the euro itself that seems to have stalled the last 3 days from going down further. But we're just seeing more and more weakness. Yeah, so no questions I see. So we'll drift our way over to the cable. Remember, traders, if you want to see or look at anything, just let us know. There is cable. And you can see here, this is the weekly. We'll put it up over here. There we are. You see the pressure is on that for the last 4 days. And the weekly is holding up pretty fair there. And over here, same thing, 89 versus 86. So this is still hanging in the buy side of things. On a daily basis, you can see right there, lots of pressure there. And you can see at the same time, it's trying to lift up in here. This is below. Is that below? Yeah, it's 2 points below. So we'll see if this turns green. And on the cable, you can see right there, the cable is, just down a little bit today. The pressure is just a mild action. We're coming into, and we try to remind everybody, we're coming into the end of the year. And so a lot of the movement has more to do with taxes and taxes and being prepared for the new year versus literally like new trading ideas. 12 minutes in, we go to the T today compared to 21 minutes yesterday. What else can we say about the I guess the only thing else we can say about the cable is that it's been firmer than we were expecting. That's what we have to say about that. From all the fundamentals around it, it is acting much firmer than the euro. Maybe because the euro, maybe they're, I don't know. I know that China has its hat in hand. It's handed out. It's open hand asking for help from Europe. So maybe that's part of it, because I thought they were challenging Europe before. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. We'll see. All we know is technically our math is usually more and more right than the fundamentals themselves. Okay. All right. Now let's go from there over to what I always try to think as is the stability. That is the dollar Swiss pairs trade. You can see it's losing against the dollar. It's going up. So there's more Swiss to buy a dollar. So that means it's becoming more expensive. You can see the fastest at 73.5, or that's at 6 actually, 73.6, and the slow is at 69.7. So pressure on the upside. Let's put it up over here. There we are. You can see it really is not going anywhere in particular. I mean, it jumped up on this day right there, or right there. It jumped up and it's been basically just firm. That's it. The weekly is not really changing directions. You can see even the fast algorithm, it can't get through the manifold, let alone get through the zero line. Let's see. Yano says, what do you think about the 10% AMD move yesterday? Yeah, I understand it challenged the MVDA. I think that's what it was. We can put that up on the screen. I think that MVDA, the new chip that they came out with, is supposedly going to challenge MVDA very, very powerfully. Last I heard about it. Let's put it up on the screen. There we are. Let's put AMD up there. Let's get the AMD up there. Right there. There's AMD. We're in a weekly buy from back in here in the par area. We went into the weekly buy in here, and I guess there was a buy there. That was an easy win. Pushed into the sell there for one day, went back into the buy again, all the way up to there again. Pushed into the sell here. You wouldn't take the short, but you wouldn't be long, or at least split this way, you'd be neutral. And then so you got that's a buy right there, and then it goes into a sell the next day, and it goes back into the buy from that news itself. And so it's doing what it's supposed to do. They basically tried to take the top out, but the weekly wouldn't let it happen. So can't play. You're not trapped. Let's put it this way: you didn't lose from that. That's for sure. Now let's see how MVDA is looking from that same action. It has also been in a buy since the $400 area, and made it up to the $500 area, and we went into a sell here for a couple days. And we went back into a buy, which was not very good. It went right back into the sell. We're in a weekly buy, so you can't play the short side. And it's been in a sell all the way to here. Went into the buy and gave up a little profits. And you can see we are back like that. And it's trying to get into the. We tried to get into the buy yesterday too, and we're just sitting there now. So, best I can say about all that is what I just said, and that is that I understand that the the AMD chip is a new generation, so that's going to be very, very interesting, and that's why it's jumping. There's always AMD has been the runt of the litter when it comes to chip manufacturers in many ways. In that sector, it seems like everybody's always been expecting more out of AMD because they have some really great chips, but they just don't seem to catch it. They're just not getting that, rush towards it. They go to other things. Maybe their prices, I don't know. How's that, Giannis? But yeah, that's what I see there. All right, now we go from there. Where do we go from there? We go to there. We go to the. Let's put that up there. Let's go back to the currencies. There's currencies. And let's take a look at the yen. Last I saw the yen today, it was kind of just flat from yesterday after that great move. It's bounced back up and it's in a sell, I guess, from there. So it's trying to lift up. It is in a weekly sell right there. We've been in the weekly sell since up in here, and so that was one nice little win. You didn't take a long in here, that's for sure, because we're in the weekly sell. So all you can do is play the sell side of it at the moment. Again, there's so much. They're talking about the $20 trillion carry trade that they've been financing. Japan has. Or they're borrowing the money from it. Really, that's what it comes down to. It's a cheap way of borrowing money with the carry trade. Since they were lagging behind NVDA, yeah, AMD generally 80% yield to dividend. NVDA, yeah, right, or earnings, I guess it would be, is up to 111%. Yeah, I know. The NVDA was rocking at one point. It was up over 300%, I think. I think it was that, wasn't it? Let me go back to let me go back to it. Maybe we are at the highs for the year here in NVDA, but I think it was higher at one point, wasn't it? No, I guess not. Okay, so this year there's January, and so it's been went from the 100 it was up. It's hard to believe it's only 200 and some odd percent. In January, it was trading at 157. Let's 47. Let's call it 150. So 300 is 100%, and 200% would be 450, something like that. So yeah, I mean it keeps on banging against the $500 area and backing off. Let's see. Now AMD is set to take away a portion of their market by underpricing. Yeah, and I expect this to turn into a broad surge over time. Someone spent $400,000 on how many calls? Let's see. Let me just put a 1 in there so I can see it with that ridiculous heart. There we are. On 140 calls. So you just don't know if they're short stock, or you just never know. It's cheaper to go and buy $400,000 worth of stock. Remember, one call is 100 shares. So, so 10 calls is 1,000 shares, and 100 calls is 100,000 shares. So, and they bought, so that's like basically they bought 140,000 shares, and then at then you go and look at it at $120 now. So you're looking at 100 calls at 100. That's $12,000. And so, $12,000 on 100 shares. So 10,000 or 1,000 would be 120,000, and then 100 of them would be 1.2 million. So it makes more sense to buy a bunch of calls for, I don't know, what are you going to what are you talking about, $400 or something like that, $300 for 100 shares compared to $12,000. You know what I mean? So let's see. Yana says, where's that at? AMD 140 calls expire 22/12. 22/12. So my looks like an end of the year thing. Average was 100 per contract. 85 cents. It's under $100. 4,705 contracts seem to me. 470,000 shares covered. Yeah, who the hell would buy that? A fund manager that's short? This way they don't have to use the cash to go protect themselves. And remember, for every buyer, there's a seller, so somebody's out there selling it. The bigger question was it initiated on what was the opening side and what was the closing side? That's what you want to know. Was the seller, selling the calls the initiator? Maybe they were long stock. They want to, bring in a dividend. They need that type of dividend for that end of the year to perk things up. And their stocks, they own all that stock to begin with. Well, you can find it out through the OCC when it trades. There's very few organizations that report the information, but professionals can see if it's opening or closing. They can see if it's who's initiating the trade, if the sellers are initiating the sell, or if the buyers are initiating the buy. And you can see usually a lot of times with something like that, if let's say all the selling is open and 2/3 of it is closing on the buy side, then the initiator came from the sell side. So that's really what you're looking for, is see who initiated it. And the Option Clearing Corporation releases that information, and brokerage houses can see it. So it's known. It's just not reflected to the public so easily. They have services you have to buy to collect that data. That's why I never take it too serious when someone says, "Oh my God, did you see they bought?" Like I've told this story. I used to work out of the office where we did the execution for Paul Tudor Jones, and the media would be going nuts. Oh, Paul Tudor Jones just bought 5,000 futures contracts, and I could tell you at the same time we were seeing the option trades. He was doing options. He was marrying options to the trade, but the media never reported that. They only reported the long, that he bought 5,000 or 4,000 future contracts in oil, and didn't mention anything about the idea that he bought puts and sold calls. So, that's why I never really I don't take it too serious until you find out exactly what's going on. So it's pretty much, it could be a fund selling the calls. Market makers would buy the calls, and then they would go sell something against it, stock, other options, hedge it. They would go and hedge it. That's what they're supposed to do to be liquid. There has to be, for every buyer, there's a seller. And the bigger question is, who initiated it? Did the sell side initiate it or the buy side? I hope that answers that. I hope that clarifies the situation. In other words, the situation. I'm reading something. Anyhow, from there, I hope I've answered some of that question there. And I can go back to it if you don't, if you need more of an explanation, I can explain more. But the basics is that for every seller is a buyer, so we got to find out first who initiated it, And if they initiated it, they're selling premium, trying to get some cash in before the end of the year. All good? Cool. All right. From there, let's go over to the great experiment, and that is the Turkish lira. Let's see what the great experiment is looking like. And let's do this too. Let's go over to here. And there's the yen again on the screen. Let's just take a quick look on J4X for the yen, because we had left the other side of it. Yeah, you can see all that pressure on the yen, and calming down a little bit. And I'm sure we've been like 2 or 3 weeks in the sell on the yen. Let's take a look at it. Probably 2 weeks. Look at that, 3 weeks. Yep. So the pressure's been on just like it's been on in our work right there. Did you look at the euro? Yeah, we did, but we can go right back to it. The euro is kind of calm, kind of a little surprising. There's the euro right there. I think the conference, the ECB coming out and saying, that they're cutting rates in 24, and China basically asking for help in Europe from Europe ECB at the conference it's on live right now in China. With the ECB president and everybody else over there. I think the combination of it all is probably putting a little pressure on the currency. It seems like to me. I kind of need a broader outlook for next year. What, on the euro? Will the euro rates remain below dollar rates? I think so, yes. Results in it remaining weak? Yeah, that's I'm thinking too, because the ECB is already comfortable about announcing that they're going to lower rates. I think when you see that, the first thing that hits me in the head is that they need to. They're in the same boat as Japan and China and the U.S. In the sense of that they're borrowing enormous amounts of money, and so they need to get those interest rates down again. Look, they got hooked on getting paid to borrow money for a half a decade, or maybe even almost a full decade. So that's part of it right there. The ECB, and matter of fact, that big move in the yen. The talk was that there's talk of raising interest rates, and which is kind of surprising. That that automatically made people buy the yen. That's why that big move occurred. There was rumors of that. The LDP party in Japan is in real trouble. People are really angry at them, so they got to do something to change the story. All right, now from there, let's see. Let me put my glasses on. I see more on the chat line. What kind of router? Yeah, I answered that last one. Okay, good. All right, now from there, we go over to the great experiment. Let's see how the great experiment. And remember, traders, if you want to see something, we can stop and go take a look at it. We have no problem at all. None whatsoever to stop and look at anything. Giannis wanted to see, wanted to understand NVDA and AMD through our technical eyes. We stopped, did it, and we come back. That's all. And that's the way we like to work around here. There is the great experiment, the Euro Turkish Lira right there. You see that pressure on it on a daily basis. And we'll put it up over here. Right there. And you can see it's kind of flattening out again. It's trying to get into the buy. I guess you can say on the weekly, you see that right there. The slow is just touching the manifold, dipping underneath it. The fast, as you can see right there, is right on the edge of going minus. This is the Euro Turkish Lira pairs trade. The story is very weak there, And so and broader look next year. Okay, yeah, I think I answered that. All right, now from there we go over to the brick, the number one brick in the world. Right there, ZAR. Lifting up again today. Went down yesterday. It's not doing the best, I guess you could say. Obviously, the pressure has been on the upside, and we're really impressed that the metals contracts have actually found a way to go up for a while. Now let's put that up on here. There we are. And there it is. It's that angle shows you it's been rising, and normally that would mean that gold has been going down, but it's not as black and white as you would imagine. Let's see, where's that mouse at? There it is, right there. There's the gold contract, and let's go over to here, and oh no, it's right there. And let's take a look, and there is gold. And you can see the gold went into a buy yesterday, and it's basically unshowed there. And so that pressure is on the product at the moment. It is hanging in there. It is in, it's got that small little bump going, I guess. I can't tell you how many TV commercials now on the financial networks we hear, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold, buy gold. You see, now silver is not turning, not making a turn at all. So again, that's that same situation. Too bad the Mexicans dropped out of the BRIC project. Oh yeah, I'll tell you that currency is so much stronger than the. It's cleaner. It's a cleaner currency than the South African rand right now. Together with the competition between India and China, plus both of them, these using Russia to profit from the sanctions on it. Right. Does not seem like it will take into something notable after all. What the BRIC? I never had much confidence in the BRIC to begin with, because the two that really talked it was China and Russia, and they how many? It's almost a decade now. It's almost 10 years that China keeps on talking about linking their currency or the BRIC currency to gold, when in fact we know they won't. We know they won't, because there's no way we've seen what happened when Saudi Arabia, was it about 6 months ago? We did the webinar all about it. Saudi Arabia bought oil with Chinese yuan instead of dollars, and they sold oil to China. Then the Saudis, the same day, took the money and went to Shanghai and at the gold exchange and bought gold contracts and exercised them. So what they really did is they basically paid. They basically bought oil. And China, in essence, paid it with it in gold, not yuan, because they wouldn't hold the yuan more than like 10 minutes. They went and transferred it to gold in Shanghai and exercised it for delivery. So notice you don't hear any more stories about, oh boy, someone's buying gold, or selling us something in yuan instead of dollars. You don't hear them talk about it too much, because what the people do all the time is when they do that, then they convert it into gold out of the Shanghai exchange, and that's it. And then they transfer it out of the country. So, that I've said over and over, there's no way they can afford to do that. They cannot back their currency with gold. They can't afford to do it. People will exercise it. Next thing you know, they won't have any gold. So. It's a mess. Does not seem like it will into something notable after. Yeah, right, exactly. What it really comes down to is that it's a converter. It's a currency for conversion, but it's not a currency for holding. People don't want to hold it, and the world only trades 2.5% a day in yuan. That's because it's a small economy. Really, it's not a big economy. I don't think the Chinese economy is bigger than the Japanese one, honestly. Japan has 100 million people. China has 1 billion plus, and I don't think their economies are much different in size. And so that's why the yearly income of the Chinese individual is something like $12,500. So, it just shows us the mechanics and everything about, that's the only way we can measure China is through the physical actions. These physical actions tell us stories. Let's see. Robin says Moody's told staff in China to work from home ahead of downgrade to country's credit outlook. Why? So they won't get arrested? Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. The whole thing is a fiasco in every which way. So, all right. From the let's see. Oh, let me do this. We're looking at silver there. You can see it. Let's save it. And so silver is moving down. Not much, just a little bit. Whereas we just saw gold right there, with the South African rand going up, is basically flat, unchanged. Now it's in a daily buy for a second day, but it's not really going anywhere. So it's just one more dilemma. Nobody in the world can back their currency anymore with gold because people will just exercise it. I mean, they'll exercise it like instantly. You see what the Saudis did. They instantly exercised their Chinese yuan into gold in Shanghai, and the next day they transferred it out of the country. You don't hear anybody talking about that besides Doc. All right. Now there's copper. Copper, trying to lift up again. Maybe because ECB said they will help. Remember, they're having a conference over there, and China is actually asking for help. They're actually asking for help. So that says a lot about it. From there, we go over to the platinum. And there's the platinum. And now let's fix that. There we are. Okay, so I guess something's wrong there. Let me just take a look, but it looks like something's wrong there. Went into the cell here. I think this might be wild. That might be wrong, that one there. We'll have to double check it. We'll go clean that up. Let me just take a look at it on here. I'm going to go to the exchange itself and see what it looks like. See if that makes any sense. I'm sure it doesn't. Let's see. Right there and right there for platinum. And right there in January. Alright, so yeah, that's wrong there. And that's right. And that is wrong right there. This one right there is wrong. So we have to fix it from the 5th. Let's see, what about the 4th? There's the 4th. That needs fixing too. I'm surprised it's all funked out. Let's see if I can get it to... Not sure why it's doing that. But you can see the platinum is in a sell, and it's... I think yesterday it jumped into the buy. Let's cancel this. Let's see, right there. There we go. Let's go like that. See if that's straight. It doesn't straighten it out either. All right, it's still in the sell. I think it went into the buy yesterday. We'll have to double check that. And so that pretty much finishes off the... Oh, what's it? Yano says... Wow. All right, there's Robin. Okay. Chinese credit downgrade results in violent accidents at Moody's office. No! No. You're kidding me. Really? Oh, my God. They're a bunch of thugs. Oh, it's another banana republic. Kill the messenger. That's it. Kill the messenger. What a weird world. Yes, kidding. Okay. Kill the messenger. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. So, from there, let's go over to the energy sector. And let's do this too. Let's go to that, like that. And then let's see if I can get the Brent up this morning without as much of a hassle as I did yesterday. And the Brent on the beta platform. Not there. There it is right there. So that's not it. Let's see. And ZBF, that's the bond. Let's see, we'll find it. There it is, BZF. There you go. So there you go. There's the. Let's put it up on the beta right there, and you can see, Brent has been moving down. You can see it's in a daily sell for a bunch of days, and it's been in that weekly sell for 8 weeks. So that pressure is on that. Let's go to the Canadian on here. There's dollar CAD, and it is trying to bounce up, which is normal for then oil going down. That's cool. Let's see, but the fact that it could be believable already plays into it. No, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. China, or as my dad used to say, China, Illinois. He used to say that. My dad would say, he was always watched where things were manufactured, and he worked for the family business was an international company, and so we bought from all over the world, and Dad always paid attention to that. So he used to say that back in the 90s, he used to say, where is this China, Illinois? What company is it in China, Illinois? What kind of town is that? And I said, what are you talking about, China? He says, it has to be in Illinois. He says, because the amount of things being manufactured there now can't be foreign. It has to be domestic, so it can't be China. So he says, I think it's China, Illinois. It's okay, fine that. In other words, a Midwest industrial town, that type of thing. And so he would say that all the time, that it's from China, Illinois, because he just said that it was way too many items were being manufactured there that got into America, that no other country had as much access to the American market, but China, Illinois did, he used to say. I was like, oh, I get it. So I'll never forget that. He picked up on that very well. He was a good trader. My dad was a good trader. Let's see. Let's go to where are we at here? So there is the Brent, and the Brent is feeling that pain. Let's see it over here on the. There it is right there. It's a little bounce going on West Texas Intermediate. You can see that there. Let's see. They're doing the same thing on Brent. You see it right there. Right there, it's popping up. And then over here on West Texas Intermediate, you see that same thing. They're doing a little bounce here this morning, but it's also been in a weekly sell for weeks, many, many weeks. And so that pressure is, obviously we're happy to see it go down. It makes things a lot easier. It's almost like the foreigners are trying to help us, help our situation with Joe Biden. So that is that. Let's see. And you see the CAD is lifting up. You would assume that oil would be going down from that, but no, it's going up in value. So anything's possible in these times. The two are not matching up. So let's put the Brent on there too at the same time, just to take a double look at the Brent right there. And there's the Brent that's been sinking and sinking and sinking. And that is pretty much the action. And when we go over here, we put it up on there again. See that same thing. Very close, and the pressure is on it. You can see the fast is at 15.3 and the slow is at 7, so there is some pressure on the upside. It's trying to join in. We're not really seeing it here. You can see the line is nowhere near, and the histogram is nowhere near. And over here, you can see the same thing. It's trying to lift up. This is West Texas, but it's obviously not going through it, that's for sure. All right, so from there, we go over to nat gas. Let's put natural gas into the system. There it is right there. $2.56 it's trading at right now. So it's not exactly complaining or crying or so forth. Now, I understand Europe is 2/3 of it is under snow at this point. So it is a little surprising, just a little, not a lot. But it is a little surprising that the media here in the States is not telling us anything about it. And I understand airplanes are freezing on the ground and they have to defrost them again. And, just all the same old stuff that's been going on. And you can see here, there it is right there. There's nat gas, holding down in a sell and a weekly sell. So pressure's there. We can slide over to the beta. Okay, let's see. Natural gas will come in a second. And Q's, why don't we see an NGF? Where's an NGF? NGF, it's hiding in here somewhere. I'm going to have to realign this whole thing, put all energies together, and then all so forth and so on. Matter of fact, let's take a look at the platinum on there. And that's not updating at all, so that's not worth doing. Alright, NGF. Nat gas. There it is, NGF. Here's natural gas on the beta, and you can see that pressure on that and how it's been in the cell for 10 weeks. Okay, from there we go over to the energy company down in Spain. As Giannis would say, my favorite stock. It's the only way I can even get a flavor of what's going on cost-wise in Europe. There it is, right there. And so you can see here, it's bouncing around the 28 area. It's at what, 27.97, right on the edge. 27.92s are bid for. The fastest at 70, the slowest at 74. So it looks like they're rolling over a little bit there. Now let's put it up on the beta, and there is the beta, and you can see it's been in that buy, pushing up just the same, banging around that 28, and look how high up the lines are. It's really moving. And it's been in that long weekly buy for 10 full weeks. So that pressure is not backing off whatsoever. Giannis, you guys seeing a lot of snow over there? How's that working out? Is Polina complaining about it? I've seen her on the Facebook a lot more lately. I've seen she had a scarf on, I think. That's usually, or a leather jacket. And Polina and her scarf. She needs that scarf. You know, she hates the snow and coldness. Yeah. Have you seen? Polina's not like an ice cube now, is she? I don't. Every time it gets cold, I think of Polina. I feel sorry for her. And it's like, oh, poor Polina. Yeah, but the world, you know, they're not saying anything about it in the States here. You know, no one's talking about it. They're hiding the fact. So, let's see now. So that pretty much finished. Let's see. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard that planes that were landed on the runways waiting got snowed over, like, you know, and someone tried to take off, like one of the private jets, and it tilted. Good. Turn into puddles. I hear you. Yeah. So, yeah, that action alone is really shaking it all up. You know. Let's see where are we at now. Let's take a look at the stock indices. We'll look at them in the. It doesn't seem to be affecting. I mean, you can see it, you know, with that Spanish energy company, but it's having no effect on our. I mean, as that snowstorm got going, they sold natural gas down here in the States. You would have thought it would have gone up because they would have been exporting more, but I guess they've got enough of a cushion now. There must be something's going on. You know, they've got it figured out somehow. All right, let's go over and see the. Here's the stock indices. They started running up this morning. I'll show it to you. This is the intraday chart for us. Well, you can see this is really wild. You know, it did that, climbed up, then sold down, made another low a few minutes ago, and we got some news coming out here in a matter of 19 minutes. So it's going to be interesting. We got the unemployment numbers kicking out. Now let's take a look at the actual daily and weeklies and see what's going on. And right there, you know, you got the, you know, you've got this is the S&P 500. It's trying to turn over a little bit, still minus. At one point it was plus. So at this point, there's no reason to even have that line in there. We can remove it, and we'll keep an eye on it at this point to see if it turns up. Still in a weekly buy, so I'm not that concerned. Obviously, we could see a lot more pressure on it, but we're not at this point in time. There we go. I just wanted to save that. So then we go over to the Tech 100. The home of NVDA and all the other tech companies right there. And you can see here it's been in the sell for, let's steal one of these cells. It's been in the sell for 3 days, is it? Right there, yeah. And it's going the wrong way. And we're in a weekly buy to begin with, so you don't take the short there. Now what's cool is that the buy is right there. So you could take that buy and ride that for a couple of days. That was cool. But overall, it's not changing any direction. Let's see. From there, we go over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We're going to go through all the stock indices, and we'll take a look at Bitcoin too. And then we'll call it a day here. Let's see. Where's it at? Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right there. Grand Lady. Activate. And you can see here it's going sideways. And you can see right here the pressure is on. It's in a sell for 3 days. Let's put that sell in there. But it hasn't gone down. That's the thing. It's just standing still. And it's in a buy. I don't think there's a lot of sellers. That's the problem. No one wants to get out of their positions. No one wants to change their positions. They just want the year to come to an end at this point. And I would imagine that what we'll see is, a steady, firm, market. That's what I think. Now let's take a look at the Russell. Russell started to lead and then stalled out for the time being. I don't think it means a lot. And there's the Russell, and matter of fact, you can see it's trying to head back up into the buy there. And so, wouldn't surprise me if the numbers fit right. We'll see a much stronger Russell over the next couple of days. And then we go to the crypto. I know it's playing with a sell right there. There it is right there. It's playing with that sell. And that's pretty much the end of the story there. It's just and it's up for the day. It's in the weekly buy, so it itself is not really going anywhere. And we're going to put where's it at? Right here. We're going to put cash up there, up on the beta. And there it is right there. It's just starting to flirt on the downside. Let's put it up over here. That's been moving up. That's the week. It's a daily. Yeah, that's been looking fine. And you can see right there. We're just starting to roll over a little bit the last couple of days. There's some pressure on it. And that's the cash. And you can see the same thing over here on the other chart right there. That pressure that's on it. And so that's the name of the game. All right, traders, we're done for the week. So this is Doc from North America. We will catch you all on Monday. And I guess we got to come up with a title for what's today. So let me think. What did we really talk about? I guess it still seems to be that deal that's going on with China and European Union. So I would say that we could talk about that. We can talk about Japan. It's amazing. Japan has turned into such an interesting thing. Hey, Robin, hold on a second. Coming up in 5 minutes. All right, so this is Doc from North America. Everybody have a safe and smart weekend. Happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be Monday. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Take care, traders. Yep, the big number are coming in just a few minutes. Oh, there, avalanche. There we go.